Hi crafty friends. Hey, I've got a couple of Mod Podge tips for you. So we're going to use this little wooden bunny from the Dollar Tree, and you can see that the ears are raised and so is the tail. So I decided to take those off because I think it'll be easier when I'm using the Mod Podge with scrapbook paper. So they didn't come off as clean as I wanted to, but I'm not worried about that because I'll end up flipping the bunny upside down anyways when I put the Mod Podge on, so it will be nice and flat against the scrapbook paper. So my first tip is use a sponge brush. Sometimes in the past I've used a bristle brush, and it always seems like I get the bristles on the Mod Podge on the surface. So with the foam brush, it is so much easier. You don't have to worry about that at all. So once you get all the Mod Podge on there, I'm going to lay it down onto my surface and then flip it over. And then here's the next tip. Grab some parchment paper. The Mod Podge is still wet. And I'm just going to lay it over the top of it, and I'm just going to straighten out any wrinkles or bubbles or anything like that so we have a nice flat surface. You can see through this that I had trimmed the paper. It was just easier for me, so I was working as quickly as I could because this works best when it's wet. So I just gently pull it up off there, and then you don't have all the wrinkles or any of that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and start to, because y'all know I'm impatient. I'm like, ooh, let's get to sand in the edges. But if you want to wait a few minutes, you can, just to give the Mod Podge time to dry. But like I said, I like to just, go, maybe I can get away with this. So I did end up using my X-Acto knife just to kind of trim some other edges and then sand, and that was a lot easier. So my next tip is, and this is the last one, is we're going to put a top coat of the Mod Podge over, and then it will be a nice, now I'm using matte, so it'll give you just kind of that nice texture all the way across. Because sometimes, you want it to just be like super clean looking. I prefer the matte Mod Podge. There's also a glossy, can't talk today. But the matte seems to work better for me. So once I get all that done and it dries up, I'm actually going to distress a little bit. I'm going to grab out one of my ink pads, and I'm just going to work around the edges first, and then I end up going over the whole body and kind of gave it like some horizontal pieces as well, just to kind of add in a little bit more depth of the distressing. But I know so many of you are aggravated with Mod Podge because I get so many messages about it. So I thought these few tips would help you guys out. And then that way, when you're using the scrapbook paper with the Mod Podge, it comes out a lot cleaner for you. You can also use these tips with, if you're using tissue paper or napkins or, just anything like that. But I know with the scrapbook paper, because it's a little bit thicker, sometimes you have a little bit more challenges. So I hope this helps out. I think this turned out just adorable. And thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so very much. And don't forget to follow the page for more. Thanks, friends.